Hello, everybody. This week, June 24th through July 6th, is our final week of Concepts of Wellness in Summer Session 1, 2019. So we have two chapters due this week as well, stress management, as you can see, and the flexibility exercises. So again, in keeping with our process and how we've been doing things, we will do the actual exercise session this week that is being approved currently. So lots of people have submitted assignments and asked about, can I just add my flexibility exercises onto the end of my routine? Absolutely. If you have what is considered average or normal flexibility, this is one of those areas where more is not necessarily better. So if you have joint laxity, which many people refer to as double jointedness, there is no such thing as double jointedness. And so what happens is you have what we refer to as joint laxity. Joint laxity means that perhaps your elbows hyperextend, your wrists are very mobile, your knees hyperextend, maybe you have a curvature in your lumbar spine. All of those things are a challenge, a weakness based off of perhaps anatomy. Maybe your ligaments aren't strong enough. And we can't fix those, but we can certainly fix the tendons and the muscles that support. So if you have an area that is hypermobile, then we would strengthen around it. If you have an area that is minimally mobile, then we would stretch around it. So just simply saying that there isn't a bare minimum that you need to do to maintain flexibility, and in fact you need to make sure that you don't get too flexible. So that's the key point here. So you may just simply add stretching after your workouts so that you can give the muscles that you just paid attention to a little bit of stretch to maintain their length. If your knee doesn't go straight and you have a low back problems and your lumbar spine, as measured in the sit and reach test, lumbar and hamstring are tight, then that leads to chronic back problems. So you'd want to work on stretching those, and maybe not on a daily basis, but at least 3 times a week. So from there, you make your decision. Is your flexibility program going to be a standalone program that you're so excited that you're going to do stretching? And oftentimes people confuse both yoga and Pilates with just a standalone stretching routine. Certainly, both are using the body in its full range of motion, but their sole goal is not to stretch. So keeping that in mind. From that standpoint, you may choose, again, as I said, add it to the bottom of your workout, add it as a standalone, whatever you choose to do. And so from there, I'll show you some things of how this is supposed to look. When we get to our stress management section, again, there are many links and several things that you need to check out. So we'll get to these two things. 1 second. So here's a sample of the flexibility workout program that you designed, maybe your short-term goals, your long-term goals. What you'll do, still remember that even though it's a flexibility training program, if it's standalone, it must have its warm up and cool down. When we're cooling down, that means that we've slowed the body, bringing it back. While stretching may be part of your cool down process, you need to include that in there and make sure that you're stating where your target heart rate zone should be. And remember, that's less than 100. I've given you some links that you can take a look at inside of here. Here are some stretches. These are some basic general stretches that we can do. They're just generic. Typically, every body part here is stretched and nice and simple to hold. So that's a sample stretching program. You would actually literally write those names down. There's a link here that I've shown you, and that you can put in there. You write those names down, and then you say switch to the other side, do whatever, and that should be in your log. Your log is that format that you have in the previous chapter that looks just like this. This is the one that you should have designed and handed to me. Again, the time, the reps, all of that need to go into here. So here's how this goes, and that's what goes on there. So then we move on to our stress management section. So in stress management, you'll read the chapter in the textbook that is OER. Yes, the textbook has many links to it. It's my understanding that some of you are unable to open some of the links. That's fine, because I've provided each and every one of the links down here separately and individual that you will need in order to finish the assessments and do what you need to do. So for this one, not only do you read the chapter, but you watch that quick TED Talk. The quick TED Talk is something that maybe will open your mind to seeing something that stress may be as a benefit to you. As we know, stress has both positive and negative consequences on our body, motivation and destruction. So this video talks about that. And that's very interesting. So then you'll see the link right here, students who suffer from test anxiety. Are you one of those people? There's some information in here that you can gather. When you get down to the rest of this, you'll see that your homework is on a separate document. So, not included in with this. Some of you highlight all these things and then write down all of your answers. That's fine, but I need you to write it down in sentence format. So it would be something like, my top 5 stressors are ba, 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 ba. My stress vulnerability score was yada, yada, yada. This is relatively high. This is relatively low. I just cruise through life with every day. Maybe you're unmotivated. Maybe you're overtaxed. I don't know. My personality, I'm a type A personality, a type B personality. And this helps me because, this can be a problem because, and you make those statements. All of those things are listed in there, and talk about that. How do you attempt to improve your stress levels? What is it that you're thinking might need to happen? How can you either increase them so that you have more motivation and you're striving, or how is it that you can decrease them and control the anxiety and negative effects? So you'll write these things down. You're going to write 3 positive stress management techniques. I teach a lot of stress management classes at the college, and oftentimes the students are very brutally honest with how it is that they manage stress. They use alcohol, marijuana, other substances. They go to sleep, they argue, they drive their car fast. And so while you should recognize those are actions that you take when you're feeling stressed and maybe out of control, the other thing that you may want to do is start to think about, like, how do I mitigate some of these things that have potentially harmful effects on me, right? Driving your car when you're not fully mentally engaged at high rates of speed not only puts yourself at risk, but others around you. So those are some of the things that you're going to do. Once you put all of those stress management things together, then that's kind of your plan, and that's all you need to do. 1 page, 1 document, that's what you attach. That's your stress management plan. So I hope we're good with next week. This is what starts on Monday. All the chapters open up and go from here. Okay, good luck. Have a great week.